Christmas Day at the Garden, an age-old tradition. Opposing great players showing out at the Garden, an unfortunate tradition. Wemby filled the box score and Knicks fans with angst as he looked to have his signature MSG performance. But Mikal Bridges saved Christmas by serving up a 40-piece with a side of clutch middies to propel the Knicks to a 117-114 win over the San Antonio Spurs. Hey yo, Merry Knicksmas, play the music. Merry Knicksmas. The New York Knicks on Christmas Day, the customary opening game of the NBA's Christmas Day slate, and the Knicks win a thriller against the San Antonio Spurs, 117-114. Wemby went off. Wemby was an unstoppable force, and he had a chance to set the record for most points ever on a Christmas Day game. That was held by Wilt Chamberlain, and he was close. Wemby had 42 points, 18 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks. He was fantastic. Shot a lot of threes, 6 of 16. They look good when they go in, but that's a lot of threes from my center. Personally, a lot of deep threes. And obviously 6 of 16, 37%, not horrible, not great. But overall, Wemby really did his thing. No matter who was guarding him, it seemed like he was unstoppable until the last 6 minutes. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Tom Thibodeau masterclass, playing chess. But on the Knicks side, Mr. Mikal Bridges, the much maligned Mikal Bridges, comes to the Knicks. He completes the Villanova quartet. We end up losing Dante in the trade for Julius, so there's just a Villanova threesome. And he struggles out the gate. And as we know, this is not Phoenix. This is not Brooklyn. When you put on that orange and blue, the heaviest jersey in the NBA, many say, when you put that on, you know that there's going to be a certain level of scrutiny that comes along with that. And when there is whispers of you changing your form in the offseason, and then you start off and you're not shooting well, but especially you're not defending with the level of intensity that your reputation precedes, Knicks fans are going to get on you, and they're going to get on you quick. I was on him. I was like, Bridges, what are we doing here, man? He wasn't being aggressive offensively. He's not shooting the ball well. And the defensive just ability to keep his man in front of him and at the point of attack be a defensive, difference maker was totally missing for a little while. But somewhere at the end of November, everything changed. And Bridges has been one of the best players in the entire league and definitely the best player on the Knicks in this month of December. And today was really the culmination of that on the grandest stage in front of the entire nation, many people enjoying their Christmas presents and then sitting down to watch the Knicks at the Garden on Christmas. I mean, it's a tradition, right? And Bridges starts off from the very beginning. He scores the Knicks' first 7 points, and he continues to just get buckets throughout this entire game. He plays 43 minutes. He ends up with 41 huge points throughout the entire game, but he started us off, and he down the stretch, just clutch mid-range shot after clutch mid-range shot. He mixed in some backdoor cuts. He mixed in some transition. He stepped into and fired threes, making 6 of 9, 17 of 25 overall, 1 of 1 from behind the line. From the free throw line, and just overall an absolute offensive explosion. What a performance on Mikal Bridges. He saved Christmas. Wemby was trying to be the Grinch, but Mikal, he saved Christmas with just an absolutely fantastic offensive performance. What a game by him, man. Those clutch shots that he was hitting down the stretch, mid-range, the ability to hit mid-range shots is so important in key moments because these are the time when the defense really locks in. And if you have a couple guys who can get to a spot and take a fadeaway and hit it with consistency, we saw what Brunson has been able to do with that, especially in clutch moments. And Mikal Bridges showed you today that he has all the ability to do that as well. What a game by Bridges. I was not one of the people that went far over on the deep end that was talking about, hey, man, we need to bench this guy or it was a bad trade. I wasn't one of those. I was one that was taking him to task and holding him accountable for the way that he was performing early on in this season. But I always kept the faith that it would turn around. As Tibbs likes to say, they play to the back of their basketball card. They're typically going to either progress or regress to those numbers. Sometimes guys make jumps. Sometimes guys fall off. But most of the time when a guy's been in the league for a while, you're going to see about the same when it comes to percentages. Now, usage, and also it seems like coming to this Knicks team and playing with Tibbs, a lot of guys do, kind of step up their overall numbers. But Bridges tonight, or today, I should say, he just showed you everything in the bag. He showed you the midi. He was getting all the way to the rim a couple times, backdoor cuts. Knicks continued to move the ball. Just excellent ball movement overall. They did end up with, how many assists did we have for the night? 26 assists. So we didn't get to that 30 number, which we like to get to. But a lot of that had to do with just very poor shooting to start off the game. Knicks started this game off 1 of 15 from three. Could not buy a shot. Shots that we typically hit. And that one was the first shot of the game by Bridges. So they missed their next 15. Very hot and cold shooting night for the Knicks. And they start off in that first quarter, and they're, like I said, they're turning the ball over a little bit. Turnovers weren't crazy. And then for the game, they definitely tightened it up. They had only 5 turnovers in the total game, so that's fantastic. But early on in the game, especially a lot of those missed threes were leading to runouts, and we weren't getting back in transition. The Spurs do have a couple, young guys that can get out in transition and run and definitely finish. Sohan can run. And then both Vassell and Castle, I mean, those cats are both just like crazy athletes. There was a couple of those dunks where it was like, damn, you didn't expect dude to just get up and with 2 hands just buff it like that. So yeah, the Spurs got some good young pieces, and then Wembanyama. We're just gonna stick with Wemby for the rest of the episode. Yo, man, he's a problem. I don't know what the league is going to do with this dude, man, because now that he's getting some more confidence, he's shooting a ton of threes. I personally, if he is on the Knicks, I'd want him to shoot a few less threes. But when he hits them, it feels backbreaking. But whenever he takes them, I feel like, hey, we forced them into that being their shot this possession. It makes me feel pretty good. But overall, he dominated this game from start to almost finish. I'm going to tease this one more time. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. But through the first 3 quarters and the first half of the second quarter, Wemby was just nobody could do anything with him. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's in foul trouble trying to guard Wemby. The second foul, he basically got a foul because his feet are too big. I mean, he was standing stationary and a guy tripped over his feet trying to navigate a screen. He didn't stick his foot out, didn't stick his leg out, anything like that. And that guy trips and falls on the ground, and that's a foul on Karl-Anthony Towns. So what is he supposed to do right there? He's supposed to move his foot out of the guy's way? He's standing there stationary. So he picks up 2 early fouls. And then he picks up that third foul in the second quarter. forces them to miss a lot of the second quarter. And then I thought Karl-Anthony Towns came out with something to prove in that third quarter. Cat was a monster in the third. You could tell he was feeling himself. After he hits the three, he had just had the huge dunk where he gets down the middle and just throws it down. And then he has a few buckets. He hits the three. He's sticking his tongue out. He's motioning to the crowd. Karl-Anthony Towns was feeling himself in that third quarter. In only 8 minutes, he had 11 points. He ends up picking up that fifth foul in the fourth quarter, and then we get a lineup in that starts rolling, and Cat is on the bench for the majority of crunch time. I think he came in for that very last possession where we just needed to get a stop. Or no, we were just looking to basically run the clock and get a bucket, and we were able to do that with a couple Josh Hart offensive rebounds. But Karl-Anthony Towns came out in that third quarter with something to prove for sure. And at one point he was giving it to Wemby, and then as that quarter went on, Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm pretty sure he definitely picked up the fourth foul, and then Wemby, started kind of doing his thing. Wemby can hit that three from deep from the logo. He can finish around the rim. He can shoot a mid-range shot. He can pass if you, put too much attention on him. He will find that guy backdoor. I think it was Sochan he found her, or Sohan, however you say it. Stupid green hair. My kids found it somewhat entertaining, though they did say it was they didn't like it. So I'm glad about that. There will be no green hair in my household at all, unless you once you get out and you start paying your own bills. I guess I can't say anything, but as long as I'm footing the bill, there will be no green hair. But yeah, man, he's an interesting player, man. So he was guarding Brunson most of the game. Brunson started off a little bit slow, had the shooting woes like the rest of the Knicks. Some shots that you typically expect to go down for him, especially some of the wide open threes, even some of the shots inside. He wasn't able to quite get them going. But I thought in the second and third quarter, Brunson really did his thing, and offensively, certain points like carried us for little pockets. And he had another fantastic floor game where he was finding his teammates early on. Lots of times where he's finding Bridges for a three. He's kicking it to OG. Josh Hart, another game where he just a Josh Hart game, man. He's everywhere. He's everywhere, doing everything. So many key plays in this game came down to Josh Hart. We will detail those more here in a second. Brunson at his stat line, 20 points, 9 assists, 7 boards, flirting with a triple-double, only 7 of 23, 0 of 5 from behind the arc. 2 bad shooting games in a row for Jalen Brunson. I would hammer all overs for all Jalen Brunson props in this next game, because you do not see Jalen Brunson have 2 bad games in a row very often, let alone 3. And this next game is against the Magic, who continue to win with all of their best players going down with injury, and they play very, very good defense. And Suggs is one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. So it's a tough one to think that, Brunson is going to show out, but three bad shooting games in a row for JB. I don't see it. I don't see it. And what this Knicks team continues to prove is that a different person can step up on any given night. Tonight it was Mikal. And Bridges, this guy's been a 25-point scorer in this league. We know that this guy can get going, and obviously the Knicks know. They have faith in him. Josh Hart spoke again about how, he's going to be sending out the Bridges apology letter for everybody to go ahead and sign and return before the next game. He's always kept faith in his boy. So is Brunson. So is Tibbs. Our whole team has. Everybody knows that this guy is going to get it figured out, and clearly he has. And as this game was going along, and he obviously had it going, I love the fact that we, made the adjustment of kind of just running the offense through him, especially late. You don't have to default to Brunson. It's not that team anymore. It's not the team of last year, especially with no Julius, where it was Brunson or bust. Nah, we got 2 other guys who can really create, who you can really run the offense through, and can absolutely take over NBA basketball games. And then you have a guy like OG who every once in a while can take over a game. He's not exactly the guy that you run the offense through, but you can definitely run it through Bridges. You can definitely run it through Cat. And of course, you can run it through Jalen Brunson. That makes you a tough team to beat, especially in a 7-game series. Especially when two of those players, really all three of them, I want to see it more from Cat, but two of those players are extremely effective in ISO middies. And that wins the ends of basketball games. If we go back in time and we look at a lot of the game winners that you've seen, a lot of the great iconic plays or great stretches that guys have gone on at the ends of games, a lot of them, they involve a guy who's can, get to that 15 to 18 foot range and pull up and stick a shot. I think we got two of the top 10 to 15 in the league. I think it's 10, man. Bridges, when he's being aggressive, Brunson's definitely the top 10 at that. And Bridges has shown that he has the ability, and we're going to continue to see more aggression out of him. The defense by Bridges today, at the point of attack, he was fantastic. Castle and Vassell. Sometimes I say Cassell and Vassell. It's hard to keep it through, but I'm pretty sure it was Castle at the top. There was a huge sequence in the fourth quarter where the Knicks are down. I want to say they're down 5. Yeah, the Knicks are down 5, and then Hart hits. They're basically daring him to shoot. He hits the wide open 3. Pretty sure that was a pass from Bridges too. Then Bridges makes a steal on Castle where, he's up on him. He goes to make the pass. He tips the pass. He gets it up the court. He gets it up to Hart. Hart jumps up in the air, doesn't know what to do, makes it up on the fly, passes it to OG. OG hits the corner 3. And boom, we're back up by 1. I thought that was a fantastic sequence, man. And I thought that kind of showed some of the different things that we consistently get from these guys and we really need. And it was on full display. Bridges, point of attack defense. I don't know what happened with Bridges. I don't know why early on in the season he wasn't playing great defense. But he has been. He has been here recently. And the numbers, they support that. Bridges right now, opponents are shooting 42% with him as the primary defender in the month of December. That's a great number. That puts him, in the upper echelon of the league when it comes to point of attack defense. And then he stopped 93 drives this season, which is 3rd overall in the NBA. So that has to do with him having proper anticipation, him cutting his man off, him moving his feet. And anybody who watched Knicks basketball, that's turned up in this month of December. So I don't know what it is. Maybe Bridges is like Lindor, if you're a Mets fan. Maybe he starts slow. I don't know. But he's balling right now. Bridges is doing his absolute thing, man. It's a beauty to watch him flourish, to watch him deal with the adversity of the New York scrutiny. Again, this is not Brooklyn. This is different. But he dealt with that adversity and he responded to it. It didn't make him, just totally crawl into a shell. No, his guys stuck with him. He stuck with it. Trust the process, like my guy Tibbs always says. And, you get to show out in front of the nation, 41 points on Christmas Day. Merry Knicksmas. Appreciate you, Mikal Bridges. The Knicks become the first team to win 25 games on Christmas Day. I feel like I've seen all of them. And when they lose on Christmas, well, I clearly have not seen all of them because some of them I'm sure occurred before I was born. But I've seen all of them since 1984. And, you start off the day and they lose. And this was a game that, you definitely felt like you could lose multiple times. We were down, I think, as much as 8 in the first half. We were down 5 at least 2 different times in the fourth quarter. But down the stretch, the Knicks made the plays. Buckets from Bridges, some defensive stops, and some huge offensive rebounds by Josh Hart. he basically closes the game out with 2 offensive rebounds. OG got mixed in there where, he got an offensive rebound or at least a deflection that led to an offensive rebound. Josh Hart with huge emotion looking at the crowd. Jalen Brunson throws the ball up into the air, and the Knicks get the win. Wemby, man, he's an alien, yo. It's just he's 20 years old. I mean, what is this dude going to do to the league? You could tell he's putting on a little weight too. He's getting a little bit stronger, and he's just got the total package, man. There's not his handle, his understanding of how big he is, and his ability to, when he gets a guy with a pump fake at the foul line, and the guy just kind of raises up, and he knows he can just step past, and just with his step and his length, he's now laying the ball up at the rim. It's crazy. It's crazy. He's standing next to Karl-Anthony Towns. He looks like he's a full foot taller than him. Man, Wemby, man, he's something, man. What a talent. What a talent, and what a game for him. And then in the fourth quarter, I've heard some people float that this is because of Karl-Anthony Towns' foul trouble. But I think that this was a chess move by Tibbs, where with just over 6 minutes to go, now OG is guarding Tibbs. I'm sorry. Jesus. OG is guarding Wemby. And Wemby didn't score again. He had 42 points at that point. He didn't score again. OG was a different look, man. I was talking to my pops about it, and I was like, yo, I think Tibbs did it on purpose. He's like, he absolutely did, because Wemby's good enough that if you have OG on him all game, he's going to figure out what to do against OG. But if you just wait until that stretch and deploy him on him, now, he's going through that figuring out phase, and we look up and the horn blows and the game's over. OG was... Wemby couldn't put the ball on the floor with OG on him. OG's going to steal the ball. You too big. OG does not let people dribble the ball in front of him. He's going to figure out how to get the ball if you try to dribble in front of him. And then when he was shooting those threes, OG was getting out so close that he was like touching his hand as he was, getting that three off. So OG Anunoby, who many people say that Wemby is going to be the defensive player of the year, I think OG Anunoby shows you today why he needs to be in that conversation as well. If you're a Knicks fan, he shows it on a nightly basis. But I thought that was an absolute fantastic chess move by Tibbs, waiting to take OG and throw him on Wemby in the clutch minutes, and OG was able to bother him. He had 42 points and didn't score in the last 6 minutes. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, man. It was just a good win, that Christmas early day win. It's like, yo, you got a chance to really affect the rest of my Christmas day. I'm out in AZ, so right now we're 2 hours behind. So the game starts at 10 a.m. So we always know on Christmas, we got to get up. We got to get to the presents, which ain't you don't have to, prompt my kids to get up any earlier on Christmas Day. They get up at the crack of dawn anyway. But then once we get up, then we open presents. We do, our cinnamon rolls, and then we head over to my parents, which they live right around the corner from me. And so we're there. We know I want to be there by like 9:30, 9:45 at least, because the game's going to start just after 10. And then the whole family, we're all sitting there watching the game in the waning moments. And, when Josh Hart gets that last rebound, and then, Brunson throws the ball in the air, everybody's pumped. I'm standing up. I'm pumping my fist. Everybody's screaming. Yeah, everybody. Just a good win, man. Good family Knicks win. It's awesome. Me, the 3 kids, the wife, mom, dad, everybody engaged and hype off that Knicks win. Josh Hart, again, just what a game, man. Just, there was a couple big steals. There's, him obviously going to the rim and laying kids, which he does so well. And, those hustle plays at the end, he's fantastic. He's hitting his open 3. He's shooting it with confidence. Bravo, Josh Hart. Well done. Cat, he only ends up playing 29 minutes because of the foul trouble. And then in that fourth quarter where, he comes out, we have OG on Wemby, and then we also had Precious in the game. Precious, fantastic 20 minutes from Precious tonight. He plays 20 minutes. He ends up with 10 boards, 4 of those being offensive rebounds, strong rebounds. Some of his defensive rebounds are strong, boxing cats out, going up in traffic, snatching it away from dudes. He hits that corner 3 again. It's 1 of 3 from behind the arc. 5 points, Precious had the highest plus minus of the Knicks today with a plus 14. He was excellent. Great job, Precious. Great job. New York cat, Queens dude, playing on Christmas Day at the Garden had to mean a lot to him, and he showed up and he showed out. Deuce, 2 of 10. Another not great shooting night for Deuce, which you don't see very often. So I expect him to get hot here soon too. Deuce did have a big three. It was just under, I want to say it was just under 3 minutes to go. I'm pretty sure the game was tied. And Deuce hits a three from the top of the key. And those types of plays, you can't discount, especially in a close game. That play when it's close and it's like you're the one that hits that three, you miss that three and they go down and hit the three, and now you're coming back in those last couple of minutes as opposed to playing with the lead, like even if it's a slight lead. I think that's huge. I think that those types of shots right there are huge. And that's Brunson was at the scores table for a while at that point. So Deuce knows he's coming out of the game, but he stepped up and he hit the shot. Knicks played 8 today. They really only played 7 because Cam Payne played 4 minutes and 50 seconds. He was 1 of 3. He came in, he's 0 of 2 from behind the arc. He was just slinging up shots from real far away. And the thing about Cam Payne is when those are going in, it's gravy. It's a party. When they don't go in, I felt just like Tibbs. Get him out. Sorry, Cam. Sorry. What a win, man. Merry Knicksmas. What a win. Hey, throw some comments, please. I want to know what you're feeling. I will respond to your comment. I cannot promise I will be nice, but I will respond to your comment for sure. And if you are checking it out and you like the content, subscribe, share it with your friends. It's Nick on Knicks. It's on the He Did This To Me network. He Did This To Me is a show that I do with my pops. We talk the latest in sports news. And we talk some Knicks, Mets, and Jets, as those are our allegiances, hence the name He Did This To Me. Check us out, show us some love. Really, really enjoying this whole process and really just, overwhelmed with all the love that we've received thus far. So please please subscribe, and please share. Hart closed out this game with hustle, man. Fantastic. Chris Paul is still nice, man. He's cagey. He's not the Chris Paul of old, but I've always been a big Chris Paul fan personally. I thought he was just a dog from the time I started watching him at Wake Forest. And, I always think that the league got robbed by, or at least fans got robbed by the league for them rescinding the trade to send Chris Paul to the Lakers to play with Kobe. I thought those two together would have been something special. And like I said, he's not the player he was. But the thing about CP3 is that he's just so smart. You can see that he just knows how to get how and when to get Wemby the ball. And he hit a couple clutch shots. He had a fadeaway. Post patenting, Chris Paul, team needs a 3, they're down. He's going to step right into one. Boom, hits it. And then he, but that was actually late. That was what got the game. Knicks had stretched it a little bit, and then that's what made those last few possessions be so vital. But then Chris Paul also, in the waning moments, he had, a little fadeaway in the lane, his patent, and, just get into the paint and then a little fadeaway in the lane. He hit that. Yeah, Chris Paul's still nice, man. Still nice. Spurs got some good young talent. They got some rangy wings. They just, they need a wing scorer to pair along with Wemby. Because if that guy stays healthy, he's going to be one of the greatest players to ever play the game. I'm talking about Kareem type shit. No, you can't even really compare him to anybody. He's unlike anything we've ever seen. Your boy, Karl-Anthony Towns, he hit a sky hook today. When you're playing against Wemby, you got to get creative to get that ball off. And I think he even shouted Kareem in the post game too. Knicks shoot 45% from 3, continue to be one of the better 45% from the field and 33% from 3. And the 33%, it's a marvel that we even got to there, because the Knicks, they started off 1 of 15, but then they go 12 of 24 the rest of the way. After the first quarter, I said to my pops, I said, we're not going to keep shooting this badly. The shots are going to start to fall. Took a little while though. In that second quarter, they still weren't falling. Second half, though, we shot the three ball pretty well. But overall, we shoot 45%. They shoot 50%. We get a lot more field goal attempts, 100 to 83. It's a huge stat always, field goal attempts. It tells a lot of different stories. Shout out to Coach Ruiz, who used to always say that's the most important stat is field goal attempts. Really, the turnover story tells a lot. 5 turnovers, 7 points scored off turnovers against the Knicks by the Spurs. Spurs, 15 turnovers, 21 points. There you go. Fast break points, they outscored us 22-13. They were definitely getting out and running. Our fast break defense, there's too many times where we say, like, miss a 3 and another team makes 2 passes and it's a dunk. Knicks got to get a little bit better at that. They got to tighten that up. And then it's like a rotation thing. It's like the guy either taking the 3, or if somebody's taking a 3, the other, like, typically guard who is the furthest out and typically from the weak side needs to rotate back and not let the other team just have a jailbreak straight to the rim. Knicks win points in the paint 58-50. 17 fouls to 15 fouls. I love this Knicks team, how they have just made an emphasis not to foul a lot, not to give up stupid fouls. They're doing pretty good at that. Towns, this is one of those games with him where, you get a little frustrated with the fouls sometimes. He mixes one of those in every once in a while. But overall, you got to be happy with Towns tonight. 21 points. He did have 5 turnovers. I'm sorry. No. Hold on. Got the wrong guy. 21 points. Oh, yeah. He had the 5 personal fouls. Only 1 turnover for Towns, 9 rebounds. So the double-double streak is over. He tied Patrick Ewing, I'm pretty sure, with 17 straight double-doubles. So the streak is over. 2 assists for Cat. I thought Cat played well. Cat, he fought. He's only 1 of 5 from 3. But that third quarter was very important. The way that he came out and reestablished that, Wemby wasn't just going to just destroy him the entire game. He ended up having a great third quarter against Wemby, but the foul trouble really prevented him from continuing to get that rhythm going. But Mikal Bridges had that under control. Just fantastic, Mikal. I personally apologize. I don't apologize because I criticized you when it was legit. I wasn't like, get him out of here. I wasn't like, it was a bad trade, blah, blah, blah. Hey, fuck those picks. Okay. Bunch of 12th graders. I don't give a fuck about those picks. I will take a great two-way player, which is what Mikal Bridges is and what he continues to prove. Knicks got a chance to go on a little bit of a streak here, man. Let's take care of business. Magic are going to be tough. I don't care who they got out. They're always tough. They play well. They play hard. They're well coached and they defend. So we get the Magic on Friday night. Then we got back-to-back against the Wizard. Gotta win both of those games, okay? So you got Magic Friday, then back-to-back we play the Wizards on Saturday. Then on Monday, we'll be playing the Wizards again. Then you get the Jazz next Wednesday at home. Knicks lost to the Jazz in Utah. That's a get-back game. And then next Friday, we play the Thunder. So right now, the Knicks have won 5 straight. They're 20-10. They're 2 games back of Boston. 5 straight. If we take care of business against the Magic, I definitely think we'll win the next 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 9 straight. If we could win 9 straight, be 24-10. And then next Friday, facing off against the Thunder, who are the best team in the West. I like the sounds of that, man. Could get real interesting for sure. A couple more stats before we get out of here. Bridges is first in true shooting percentage in the month of December, 61%. He's averaging 19 points per game in his last 20 games. And then defensively, like I said before, shooting 42% against him as the primary defender, our opponents in December. Stopped 93 drives this season, which is 3rd in the NBA. Mikal Bridges is putting together a fantastic month and a solid season, and it's only going to go up from here. It's going to get more comfortable. The Knicks are going to continue to build continuity. They're going to continue to build consistency on the defensive end, and they're going to be humming ready to go in March April, and beyond, like Tom Thibodeau teams typically are. Great win. Merry Knicksmas. It's Nick on Knicks. Peace.